here to share ideas and strategies with you, this time not in civil engineering or construction technology, this time not in terms of project descriptions like I used to do, but this time for strategy that techpreneurs can apply, can adopt to grow their businesses. It's not enough to set up a business. It's good to know how to manage your business and how to sustain the business. The worst thing that can happen to you is for you to start up now, you set up the business, and the business goes down in a matter of 4 or 5 or 6 years, or you fall into bankruptcy. And so I'm going to be talking about the Blue Ocean strategy. I'll talk a little about the lean management and a little about the Six Sigma principles, which are strategies and principles you must be ready to use, especially in a world of emerging disruptive technologies. But before I go ahead to do my presentation right now, I would want to respond to what my brother, Dr. Dare Akobo, has said. You know, because these are things we've always discussed. Sometimes when we fly together, we discuss these things. Like I've said, I want this to grow bigger, and this is what we should be doing, actually. And we'll continue to support it as an agency and also as an individual. I will encourage the local content to also support it very strongly. I will encourage NDDC to also support it seriously. I will encourage the federal and the state ministries of technology to support it vigorously. I will encourage the Chamber of Commerce to support it vigorously. I'll also encourage the state and the federal ministries of commerce to support it. But Dr. Dare, I want us to put some few friends together, and a few volunteers here too can join us so that we can raise at least 300 million for the startups people and encourage them. And so I'll be talking about applying the Blue Ocean strategy, lean management, and the Six Sigma principles in a world of emerging disruptive technologies. Now, you may begin to wonder what is disruptive technologies all about. I know you know. That's why I like the theme for this year, Port Harcourt Tech Expo, which is emergence. What is emerging? What is a disruption? A disruption is probably a technology that comes in that changes the way you do things. I'm going to give you a few instances as we proceed. For instance, they've talked about different kinds of technology here. We used to use DVD those days. But today, who watches video with CDs? Those are all disruptions. Kodak, several years ago, was one of the leading giants in the photography industry. Kodak had a strategy, but their strategy was not innovative enough. Kodak failed to adapt to disruptive technologies. Kodak was too conservative. Kodak was busy manufacturing cameras. And they wanted to use one other strategy, and that strategy is in, dealing more with the sub-products, that you produce. Kodak was also a giant in producing of films. Those days, you go and buy film and you put in your camera and then you go. But Kodak was not innovative enough. Kodak was not forward-thinking. The Bible says a man with a vision is dead. Just like I will always say, a man without principles is useless. A business without strategy is dead. A business without vision is as good as dead. Kodak failed to look beyond the years. Kodak failed to project their minds into the future. Kodak failed to transpose their minds to see disruptive technologies that are emerging. And so they failed to see that smartphones that had cameras were coming. They failed to see that digital photography was coming. And so rather than invest in the emerging technologies, they spent their money building more manufacturing industries to produce films, because they were found out that we're making more monies from films than from the cameras themselves. And so they started setting up more and more film manufacturing industries. Of course, the profit they made was short-lived, because the likes of Sony, the likes of Canon saw that where they were going to is digital photography. And so they slowed down, and then they started adapting to that disruptive technology that was coming, and they kept being afloat. But Kodak kept doing this before he tried to do a U-turn to adapt to digital photography. It was too late, because they had spent hundreds of millions of dollars building film manufacturing industries. And so these film manufacturing industries have become obsolete. It has become useless. They had no more market value, and so they went bankrupt. They went bankrupt because of their inability to envision emerging disruptive technologies. I'm going to give you more examples of companies that crashed because they have failure to see or envision disruptive technology. Blockbuster, you may know about it. The change from VHS to DVDs made Blockbuster to crash because they failed to innovate. Nokia, you may remember, they were one of the first when you talk about phones, but they failed to innovate. They failed to innovate to produce products that would be attractive to the end users. So they crashed out of the market. Xerox failed to go digital because their management was too stingy. And they thought that being innovative or going digital would be too expensive for them. And so Xerox crashed. Mind you, Xerox was one of the first companies to produce a PC. But they could not innovate. And they could not invest in research. And so they crashed. There's the same thing that happened to Kodak also happened to Polaroid. The same thing that happened to... So these are 5 case studies I can give to you for free of companies that could not adapt to disruptive technologies, companies that could not innovate, and they crashed. They went bankrupt. Okay, what is... according to Peter Drucker, the best way to predict the future is to create it. The best way to predict the future is to create it. That is from Peter Drucker. Currently, there is a rapid emergence of disruptive technologies. And I've just listed a few here. AI, like some of the former speakers, the past speakers have spoken, AI and machine learning, neurotechnology and brain-computer interfaces, quantum computing, I believe you know about that, and then decentralized technologies like blockchain, Web3, and DeFi, which is decentralized finance, and of course, advanced energy solutions. When you talk about advanced energy solutions, you begin to talk about solar energy and wind energy and lots of emerging energy sources that we must, especially in Nigeria here, to go green and to have a very good and stable energy mix. For now, I don't think we have a good energy mix, but I think renewable solar energy. Yes, for solar energy, the initial costs might be high, but if you amortize the life cycle cost over time, you find out that it is cheaper in the long run. So it's better to invest in solar energy here now. Especially then for coastal areas, we should be looking at the wind energy. For me, if you're living in Abuja or in the north, where we have about 6, 7, 8 sun hours per day, I think you might not be normal if I see you using, fossil fuel or generators. In the past 1 year, I have not spent 1 naira on diesel. I use solar energy even up to my air conditions. Solar energy. And it is cheaper in the long run because the amount you used to buy diesel for a year, you can use it to set it up. And so that is about advanced energy solutions. And then we have robotics. Of course, all of you know about robotics. So what we are saying in essence is that if you're planning for your business, you must look forward and look at those emerging technologies and align your businesses to those emerging technologies so that you don't crash. You take one step at a time. Don't gulp, don't bite more than you can swallow. Take one step at a time. Check where the technology is going and align your businesses with those technologies so that you don't crash. What is Blue Ocean strategy about? It's about creating uncontested market, make competition irrelevant, create and capture new demand, break the value cost trade-off, aligned the whole system of a firm's activities in pursuit of differentiation. Now, I'm going to break it down. I'm going to exemplify it. This is a summary of what Blue Ocean strategy is all about. But I'll summarize it in one word. Carving a niche, one sentence rather, carving a niche for yourself by putting value on the table. Carving a niche for yourself by putting value on the table and creating an uncontested market for your business. That is Blue Ocean strategy in summary. Now, let me exemplify it further. Let's take an ocean, for instance. Or let's take a smaller example of an ocean. Let's say we have a pool here. And inside this pool, I put a big shark. And then I put smaller fishes like tilapia and mullets inside this same pool. In no time, you see that pool red because the bigger fishes will cannibalize the smaller fishes. That is the red ocean, where there's so much competition. There are several people doing the same businesses you do. You have a chamber. There are several hundreds and thousands of law chambers all around. You have an event center like this. There are several event centers all around. What's your value proposal? What are you doing differently? What niche have you been able to carve out for yourself? What is your competitive advantage? That's what stands you out. Otherwise, you continue to be in the red ocean and you'll be cannibalized by the big fishes in the red ocean. If you try to set up a cement industry today and you don't know what you are doing, the Dangotes will cannibalize you because that is a red ocean. And so you have to move from the red ocean to the blue ocean. And doing that is through the Blue Ocean strategy. How do you do that? Your value proposal, the niche you've been able to carve for yourself, the satisfaction you are able to give to your end user. It's all about the consumer. It's all about the customer. Are they satisfied with your product? What are you doing differently? So look at every business you're doing, step out from the red ocean, and do things differently. Sometimes I tell those I tutor or mentor, I said, tread the paths that are rarely trodden. Tread the paths that are rarely trodden. I'm going to give you instances. When I started in my profession, and everybody was running to building. We have building quantities, we have civil engineering quantities, we have electrical engineering quantities. They didn't see renewable energy quantities. And so where the red ocean was building, I created a blue ocean for myself by running into renewable energy quantities, which was the emerging technology at that time. I'm talking of about 2002. Then I was the staff of the NDDC. And so, I said, we're going solar. You know, you make money by solving problems. You make money by thinking outside the box. You make money by profiling solutions to problems. Ask yourself, what is the problem of this country? What is the problem of society? Create solutions to that problem. And that's just what money is all about. So in every facet of my life and every kind of business I do, I try to create a blue ocean for myself so I don't compete with you. It's an uncontested market. It's like a monopoly. But you must be able to think outside the box. In fact, right now, while I was sitting there, I thought of something for Tech Pro. If I tell you people now, maybe somebody else will go and do it. Like Sun Tzu. Sun Tzu says, when you build up a strategy, hide it like a key covered by a back box. And then when it's time to bring it out with a big bang. So sometimes you keep those ideas. But you see, Port Harcourt Tech Expo can collaborate with some partners and make this event as big as possible. Technology is the way to go. The only way to bring out Nigeria from poverty now is technology. The Facebook guys, the Amazons, the tech giants in the US, they are richer than Nigeria as a country. They don't depend on oil. This is where the money is. So our ability to begin to support these guys that are innovative, fund them, support their ideas, support their researches, will pull us out of poverty. I have that very firm belief. And those are the kind of value we'll bring to governance when the time comes. We used to buy, what do they call it? This thing. Then you now put the video cassette. DVD. Now, after that, we started using DSTV to watch African Magic and all of that. So gradually, the DVD thing started dying. Netflix was innovative. He was able to think outside the box to say, look, for a very small fee, I can provide a solution for those that like to watch movies. A solution that for a small fee can watch any kind of movie you want to watch, and you can even use that same subscription for your whole family. People looked at it as more cost-effective and more flexible. And people keyed into it. And they got the market that they desired. The other ones that are coming up now, a lot of them. But Netflix is still leading the way because they were able to carve a niche for themselves. They were able to move from the red ocean to a blue ocean. And as the younger ones that are competing with them are coming up, they are moving ahead. Tesla is another example. Tesla is another example. Of course, you know about Tesla cars. Amazon is another example. You remember that Amazon, you remember the way he started. His father used to sell books from his garage. And so he was like serving his father, helping his father market the books and all that. He started from e-marketing. He started selling his father's books through e-marketing and developed from there to today and has what we call Amazon today. So he has made his billions of dollars through technology, not through oil, not through politics. So technology will greatly determine the future and the wealth of this country. Uber is another example. Before, you may need to go to the park to take a taxi. But now, with the comfort of your phones, you can order for your Uber and get to where you want to do, what you want to get to. Another brilliant example is the Airbnb. Of course, a lot of you use Airbnb to book for your hotels when you travel, to book for your apartments when you travel. So Airbnb is another very, very good example of the blue ocean success stories. Nintendo is another example. Of course, your kids may have used Nintendo Switch. Nintendo is another example. iTunes is another example. And then Kodak is an example of a failure story and not a success story. Kodak, the last one, is an example of a failure story and not a success story. Now, I'm done with blue ocean strategy. For want of time, I will not dwell on that so much again. Lean management. Lots of companies these days apply lean management. Lean management principles can help to grow your company if you are a small entrepreneur or techpreneur or a big one. I will just summarize lean management by giving you straight to the point what the 6 basic principles of lean management are. One is value creation. That is maximizing consumer value. What are the similarities between lean management, Six Sigma, blue ocean strategy? They always talk about value. What value are you putting on the table? As a person working in an organization, sometimes just ask yourself, what value am I putting on this table to move this company forward? You know, so the value creation is the number one consideration in under lean management principles, maximize customer value. 2 is elimination of waste. How do I do this operation differently to eliminate waste? How do I do this differently to eliminate waste? If I must manufacture a rod this high for a column that is this low, what if I just manufacture the rod this low to fit the height of that column and save the cost of the wastages? So waste elimination is the second very important consideration under lean management principles. The next is continuous improvement. How do I improve? How do I improve from where I am now? How do I improve in my operations? How do I improve in the quality of the product that I produce? The fourth is timely delivery, which we call just in time. We used to do this operation in 2 minutes. How do I get to my end user in 1 minute? How do I deliver my product to my end user in 1 minute? If I am a laundry owner, for instance, how do I get these products ready for the final users as soon as possible? Just in time. That is the fourth basic consideration of lean management principles. Consideration number 5 is employee empowerment. In total quality management, they will call it motivation. Are your staff happy? Do you praise them when they perform? How do you treat them when they underperform? Do you train them more and give them opportunities to grow when they underperform? Or you push them down? How much do you pay them? Do you pay them enough to make them happy to work for you? That would greatly determine their level of productivity. That is lead principle number 5. Then the last principle is respect for people. Sometimes I walk into a hotel. The first person you meet will be the person right there at the reception that will ask you questions and tell you what kind of room you want or this and that. The way that person treats you will tell you if you like to come back to that place or not. You walk into a restaurant, the way you are attended to, disrespectfully, you've already killed the business. That employee has already killed the business of the owner. without the owner knowing. Which is why it's very important to supervise your employees. It's very, very important. They will destroy that business without. So respect for people is very key, no matter how little that person is. No matter how little that person is. So that is the sixth principle under lean management principle. So I recommend for techpreneurs to, if you can, do an amalgam of all of these principles. Do an amalgam of all of these principles and apply them to your businesses. And I believe next year you will have testimonies. Examples of lean management success stories are Toyota. Especially when you have to do with continuous improvement. Toyota, employee satisfaction. Toyota is number 1. Zara is number 2. Amazon uses both blue ocean strategy and lean management. So these are examples of lean management success stories. Now the next I'm going to take is the Six Sigma management system. The Six Sigma management system basically emphasizes the availability of sophisticated and basic tools to staff, including modern and current technologies, and training to enable them perform optimally. What Six Sigma says is, you want your company to grow. If you want your company to grow, then there must be productivity on the side of your staff and your employees. Now, train them and provide for them the basic tools, including current and modern technologies, that will enable them perform. It's very important. So Six Sigma emphasizes availability of sophisticated and basic tools to staff. You may have the staff that has the technology. You may have a hospital, and you have an American-trained doctor that knows how to operate every kind of machine. But you don't have those kind of medical tools or equipment for him to operate. He will definitely underperform. And some success stories of companies that use the Six Sigma management system are Motorola, of course you know Motorola, General Electric, Ford, Boeing. Dr. Akobo is no longer here. He knows he has been with General Electric before, so he knows they use this. Boeing, Siemens, and of course, governments. Not every government, oh. I said governments. I won't tell you the particular one. Not every government do the same thing, but some governments use the Six Sigma management principle. Another very important thing here is change management. I listened to previous speakers, and almost all of them spoke about adaptability to change. You know, one difficult thing with disruptive technologies is people want to do things the same old way. If you go to certain ministries, for instance, if you go to certain courts, for instance, they still prefer carrying files every day. They still prefer carrying files every day. People don't want to change. As the world evolves, changes are bound to occur in organizations and in every facet of life. However, it is often said that humans are resistant to change, as they tend to rather stay with the old ways of doing things. Each year, there are disruptions ranging from cultural to climate change to environmental to change in government laws, policies, and technological disruptions. As a leader, therefore, you must have a change management mechanism to mitigate the impact of changes on the organizations when they occur. With a good change management system, you can encourage everyone to adapt and embrace the new way of working. It therefore means that if you are going to change the technology or some technologies you use in your office, for instance, you must make your employees, those under you, follow suit. You must train them and help them to adapt to changes. You know, for instance, the lawyers here said that Rivers State government is the first to go into digital filing of cases and all of that. But I must tell you, before they were able to do that, I think I was in government then, I was a commissioner then, when Sinforest was doing that, they faced serious resistance. So humans naturally are resistant to change. So as an organization, you must have a change management mechanism. Just like having other policies, you must have a change management policy. And you must have a succession management plan. If this director is going to retire, plan and begin to train the next director that will take over from him. If this next technology that is coming up, instead of you to go moribund, instead of you to go bankrupt, start on time to envision those disruptive technologies that are coming and begin on time to train your staff to adapt to that change that it is coming so that it does not carry over. So change management is very, very important. Now, what are basic change management principles? One, understand change, plan change. You must plan change. And it's not enough for you to plan change. You plan change and also implement change. Then communicate change among your team members. It's very, very important. Planning for disruptions. These are 5 ways to proof your organization from disruptions or emerging technologies. So you have brainstorm scenarios, you have triage, and you upgrade your technology. You get a ready plan for emergencies and communicate same to your team members and customers. Prepare your people, foster a team-oriented culture, and entrench unity in purpose, synergy. This is a disruptive change matrix that can help you predict your disruptive changes. It tells you if it is low, if it is high, and the probability, and what to do when the probability is low or high, and when the impact is low or high. 5 steps to prepare your business for future disruptions. Recognize and the value of adaptability, identify potential disruptions, create an early warning system so that it does not take you unawares, prepare a change plan, start small, tolerate failure, and learn. I said this before. If you've seen an emerging disruption, you don't just bite more than you can chew, or bite more than start small. You might fail in starting small, but by starting small, it gives you an opportunity to rise up again, and then tolerate failure, and then learn from your failure, and then make progress. Conclusion. Disruption demands both strategic vision and operational excellence. The future belongs to adaptive, value-creating organizations. That is true. The future belongs to organizations that can adapt to change, that can adapt to emerging disruptions. To survive, the future, therefore, demands a blend of strategy with lean, data-driven execution. Thank you for listening. God bless you all.